Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're here with Jeremy from A Day to Remember. Sorry. Dude, yeah, sorry. You were just saying you're back from Australia. 36 hours you were up. Is that the longest you ever stayed up?
Uh, I've tried to do it before, but this time it just really worked.
Hmm.
I was expecting to feel like crap the like 2 days afterwards, but it
Right.
was it was pretty easy this time.
That's good, man. That's good. Yeah, it's those trips are always. I haven't been on a trip longer than like 9 hours. I went to Brazil one time, and I was even that I was like, I need a second. I need.
Dude, sometimes those like in between flights, like I feel like the flight to LA is actually worse because when you go to
Mm,
Australia, it's like 16 hours or something like that, but you get on at night. So you can just go to sleep
right.
and then you wake up and it's like two movies and you're there. But then like when you go to LA, it's like 6 hours. They don't give you a meal or anything, so there's
Mm,
nothing to break it up.
right.
Sometimes they don't give you anything to like watch a movie or something, and you're just sitting there staring at the back of a seat for so long.
Do you have any
So
go-to airplane movies that get you along for the ride?
honestly, I have a Steam Deck, so I
Oh
just bring a
shit.
Steam Deck with me and I'll just play like a game or try to
Okay.
get into something right before the trip. So
Mm.
yeah, that's how I try to do it at least.
Dude, I've seen many Steam decks. I've never had one myself, but I grew up like a PC gamer as well, and using Steam because the best time of the year is always the holiday sales during like summer or something, and you're just like sitting there and you're like, why is every game $5? And you're so goddamn stoked to just like get one
Yeah,
of
exactly. It's
them.
cool. Just get something and just play that for a trip and it's easy.
And you're vibing, dude. Well, obviously it's release week now, and for everyone it's different. What's your vibe? Well, actually, it's kind of interesting because you guys released the record, right?
Yeah, it's
It's
weird.
it's streaming release week. So it's kind of an interesting situation here. Where how are you feeling post physical release but pre streaming release so far?
It's been awesome. We didn't really anticipate, we couldn't really anticipate what was going to happen because it just was so unconventional from what everybody's doing currently.
Yeah,
And that was kind of the point. We were just sitting around. The little funny video we made on the
yeah,
playground is like kind of the real vibe it was. It was like we have these vinyl just like sitting in a warehouse. They've been done for like 3, 4 months now. Everybody expects you to do this big build up. Like, how can you do something that feels surprising? You drop it day of, but then it doesn't just evaporate
yeah.
and on to the next thing. So the idea was, why not just put the record out physical? The
Mhm.
people who want to go and have this like special moment with it, it gives them the space to do that. And then, give them a few new songs so nobody else gets mad at us. And then you give them a month to wait. That
Right.
was at least the idea that we were like,
Mm.
because we felt like two songs, 4 weeks, and it's out everywhere
Mhm.
is better than like a slow rolling a record for like 3 months. You know what I mean? And everybody's
Yeah.
like, can you just give us the songs at this point?
It's
So,
and also like it has a bit of this interesting longevity because you guys just did a surprise full release, right? Like everyone
yeah,
has it. Like, dude, everyone goes through music so fast now that it's just
I know.
like, what's next week? All right, next week already like is here, and now what came
Exactly.
out last week, like no matter how good a record is, usually people forget, especially because that would have been awkward if you guys had to like there's Sleep Token and all these other releases also coming like in after. So it's cool that you guys now have the pre and post release kind of, and you get
Yeah,
to have both of that.
it's been like a pleasant surprise, man. And it's been cool to see people's reaction to it. Like the people who get it go out and they're like, I have like people tagging me and stuff where they're getting out their old Walkmans they used to like use on the bus. And like somebody
Yeah,
was like, the last time I used this, I was in middle school
right.
and I just had it at my parents' house and I dug it up and had this like nostalgic,
Mm,
emotional moment. And that doesn't happen if you guys don't do it this way. And it's like, wow,
yeah,
that is way deeper
yeah.
than we were initially anticipating. We were just trying to do something that felt different, something that felt like
Mm,
interesting. Because it's like we've been a band a long time now,
yeah.
and it's like
You guys on
when
20
you're
years?
over, I think.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy. They
Yeah,
keep
man.
giving us these dates and they like start talking about like different time periods in our career, and it's like, holy shit, that's getting further and further away.
Right.
So it's like you know, when you get to a point where like most people have heard in this world at least,
Mm,
people have heard the name of Data Remember, whether they checked it out or not.
right.
How do you get their attention at this point? And
Mm,
like that was the goal. Like let's just do something that feels different, something that feels
mm,
fun. and see what happens. You know, we
Yeah.
kind of rolled the dice with it, and it seemed like people responded really well to it.
Yeah, and I don't know your guys' numbers with all that too, but I'm assuming you guys probably will have the most sold physical copies out of any band this year because of this, which like is unheard of. Bands, you know, don't put the focus on that, and that's something super exciting. Also, obviously for the record stores, and also in that video was that
That
Parks Ave that you guys were.
it was Park Ave,
Ah,
yeah.
yes, dude.
Yeah, you're an Orlando boy too,
I'm
right?
in Orlando, fresh native brother, right from
Exactly.
Canada. And when I saw that, I'm not gonna lie, that made me smile. I was like, oh my god, I know where that
Yeah,
is.
exactly. They're rad over there. They've always supported us. And yeah, like you said, that was another part of this that was super cool. Like the label started reaching out
Yeah,
to all these mom and pop places, and they instantly were just like head over heels with this idea, like doing cartwheels down the aisle, like,
yeah,
we'll do whatever you guys want us to do. Like no one does this with us anymore. And like
right.
you don't think about that stuff when you're putting an idea like this together. But
Mhm.
yeah, the excitement from the people that were going to be, you know, with that had this record first, it was cool to see. It was cool
Mm,
to see all these places feel taken care of again because it's just a different time
mm,
now. So it was a lot of fun, man.
mm.
And then we're doing like all the signings and stuff like we used to do, and it's just been cool. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a cool month.
Right. Do you think there had to have been a few people that bought the CD and vinyl, went home and went, "Oh my god, how do I play it?" like
There
this
were
is
a few of those.
yeah.
Like there was a few people that were like, my dad was like that. He's like, I don't have a way of listening to this. Like, can I borrow the CD? Because they gave us a copy of like
Right.
all the different versions. So I gave my dad my CD version so he could actually listen to it.
Mm,
Which by the way, is also kind of a cool thing about it. The fact
yeah.
that like it kind of made it feel more important
Yes.
because like it wasn't so easily accessible.
Yeah.
So like the people like going out, and it was like this fun little like quest to like be able to get something to play it on. And
Yeah.
I don't know, man, just seeing the way people that participated in it felt about it was really cool.
Yeah, even myself, like I assume my computer has like a CD player, or I assume like my car, you know, has like a CD player, and then you go and check, and you're like, wait,
Oh my
what?
God, speaking of which, did you get one?
One of the so we were going to Parks Avenue actually tomorrow because what we want to do, what we do every time for like releases, is we do these big. I don't know if you've seen me dress as people very stupidly. We do like the whole thing where we check it out like together streaming. And I did ask, I think someone at the label, if I got the CD, if we could check it out, but obviously like you know it didn't work out. 'Cause, yeah, so like we do kind of like a whole event, so I wanted to hold off actually
Good,
listening. Yeah,
good. I get it. God, that's your whole thing.
yeah,
I will say, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that they said that you were one of these people. There were multiple people that were on our initial list to get this almost instantly.
really.
And what we did, yeah, you were on our list to
Oh,
get it almost instantly. And I could have sworn that you were one of the people that were like kind of iffy on responding or something because people thought that it was like people scamming them. Like,
oh
so
shit.
multiple people were like, this doesn't seem right. I'm not giving you my info to my home
Yeah,
because it
okay,
was a surprise.
that might have
So we
been me.
couldn't tell
Okay,
people.
that might have been me, Jeremy. Then yeah, it was because
Like, I'm
I
not
mean,
giving you
if you
my
guys, if
address.
I was talking with Johnny separately. I don't know if you guys with Johnny, and he's super fun, and he was like down for whatever. So if someone else other than Johnny was sending it to me, I probably had no idea who that
Yeah, it
was
was
from.
multiple people that responded that way. They're like, this seems sketchy as hell. I'm not doing this.
Okay, that was me.
But then like when people started getting their packages, everybody was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, send it on through."
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Well, there you go. I now will, you know, I'm going to respond to chat. I'm going to
Hey,
respond to every email now and give you guys all of my addresses no matter what.
but see, exactly. This is another one of those like parts where like we just didn't think about that part of it. Like somebody from that says they're from the label is going to reach out to people and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
give me your address so I can send you something."
Yeah.
Like, okay, bro, no.
Yeah. That's so fucking funny. So yeah, with dude, it's so cool to see you guys roll it out this way because I've never seen so much hype of people wanting to go to a record store as well as
Yeah.
also it was really cool seeing people talk, like even on like whatever Reddit and stuff, like seeing people do like album reviews before it's out on streaming where it's like it creates this unique type of neat like space and hype for people to kind of go and like discuss, and they're like fuck, man. Like, I don't remember the last time I've even wanted to go to like a CD store and buy a CD
I know.
besides this, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like, Parks Avenue is awesome, by the way. Go show them love. But yeah, besides
Absolutely.
like going there to like look at like anime figures or something, you know, or
Yeah,
like seeing
exactly. But me
vinyls.
too, man. Me
Yeah.
too. Like usually for me, it's like I'll wait, and I'm the same as everybody else. You know, I
Hmm.
stream everything, and I check it out, and if a record like speaks to me, I'll go pick that up on
Yeah.
vinyl after the fact. So yeah, it was just about trying to get people's attention super late in a career, and how do you do that today that
Yeah.
feels different, feels special, and
Hmm.
yeah, that's what we try.
Yeah. Did I know you guys did the video at Parks Avenue? Is there something, because I know you guys from Ocala specifically? Is there a
Yeah.
different like big store in Ocala too that you guys thought about doing it instead?
So there isn't really that I know of a
Mm.
big vinyl shop anymore. There's been a few like tiny ones that popped up over the years, but I not that we know of at the moment.
Mm.
So it just kind of made sense to do it at Park Ave. We all live in Orlando now because it's closer to the
You guys live
airport.
in Orlando, dude? You're probably my
Yeah, we do.
neighbor.
Yeah, probably
Like, you're
right down the road. You don't even realize it.
I don't even realize it, dude. How is it? Because again, I'm new here. I'm a Canadian boy. Hey there, bud.
Yeah.
How is it growing up in Florida?
Well, I didn't realize it was as humid as it was until we left the state, and then we came back for the first time. I was like, "Oh my God, it's like I'm walking around in a suit."
Right.
So you don't realize that until you leave. But I always tell people over the years, I really feel like just I grew up in the middle of fucking nowhere. We
Right.
say Ocala, but it's not Ocala for me. It was like this like in between town with like 4,500 people called Anthony, Florida, between
Oh
Ocala
shit.
and Gainesville. So legitimately, there was nothing to do for me growing up other than play video games,
Mm.
or I just got into writing my own songs. For whatever reason, I was drawn to doing that. And so I like to say, like, I think being in the middle of nowhere kind of created
Mm.
that need in me. So it worked out.
Worked out. Has there been a, because obviously coming here, everyone talks about Florida Man, and to be honest, I've seen a little bit of Florida Man action here and there. You know, just
Uh,
mainly at a Publix or outside of a Publix.
yeah, it'll do it there. Yeah.
That will do it. Have you
For
had
those who
like
don't know, Publix is not a sketchy place, though, to be fair,
it's
but
yeah.
I could see that.
Have you had any specific like Florida Man moments where even you as a Floridian were like, brother, this is crazy to see here?
I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like it's been pretty normal here. Like,
Mm.
I feel like all the craziest stuff I've seen outside of the state. If I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna lay it out.
Okay.
Florida gets a bad rap, y'all. I mean, yeah, we're a crazy place, but let me tell you what. You don't think, and I'm not gonna take credit for this because
Okay.
Drew Russ, he did a lot of videos of ours, and he did a lot of video content for us. And he used to be in a band called Seven Star, a hardcore band, kind of like jump started us when it comes to like inspiration, because that's who was big in our town when we were growing up. But he told me one time, Florida gets a bad rap because you think that it's not crazy in Las Vegas. You don't think there's crazy like Florida man stories coming out of Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there is, but in the state of Florida, you can say it online. It's public knowledge. So that's the
Okay.
difference, y'all. We get a bad rap because we put it online instantly. You're not
Right.
safe here. They're like, you come here and you do a crime, you do something stupid, we're going to put it on the internet for you to live with for the rest of your life. That's why
Right.
everybody always hears all this stuff about Florida. Your state has crazy stories too. They're just not putting you on
Yeah.
blast.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Las Vegas. It's probably just like serious messed up, you know, like that's more like serious. You're like, this is not like a meme moment on TikTok versus Florida
Exactly.
man. You see a Florida man in the news and you're like, yeah, that's someone that I saw a video the other day. Some dude that had an alligator went into the store, didn't know how he got the alligator and went through the entire
Oh, that's just
store.
a pet.
Yeah. It's just a pet, man. Exactly.
Yeah, that's just a pet. It's Florida.
I've only seen two alligators. I feel like I
I
got
don't know.
scammed coming here, bro.
I don't know how that is possible for
Yeah.
you to say that.
I
I
mean,
genuinely don't.
you know,
It's in every water source here.
well, that's the
You're just
funny
not
thing.
going. You're
Yeah.
you're just you're hooked into the mainframe here. They got you streaming all the time. You're just not around the water as much
This
as you
is
should
true.
be.
I don't go outside much, but when we do, so we've gone to the parks, and something that made me laugh a lot is coming here. I was expecting a lot of like, okay, warning, maybe warn, beware of alligators. I love
Yeah.
that in the lakes it says don't feed them, so it
Oh,
insinuates
they're there.
that
Oh, they're there.
exactly. They're already named at this fucking point. The city names them all, which is
Oh yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, they really do. They expect you to know. Like I forget it's the St. John's River or something.
Mhm.
They have these like parts where you can like tube down it, and there's like signs all across that trail where it's like there's gators in here, so be careful. Do
E-
this at your own risk.
I
But
just assume there's no like safe body of water. That's what I like. That's my presumption coming here. So like anytime I see a lake, I just am like 5 feet at least. Um,
yeah, it's not they're not as okay, they're dangerous, but
okay,
you know what I mean?
alligators
Like,
are vibe, brother. They're
yeah,
chilling.
honestly, they kind of keep their distance. That my dad always used to tell me they're more afraid of you than you are of them, and that's true most of the time. So you
Right.
don't get near them, but like they pretty much keep to
Mm.
themselves.
I've seen. I don't know if you've ever been much to like Baldwin Park, but there's this little dog park,
Yeah,
which is amazing. It's probably the best dog park I've seen in Orlando, where
the one on the water there.
yeah, where the dogs go in
I
the
used to take my
water.
dog there.
Dude, every time I'm like, this is so cute. I love dogs. My partner also like absolutely loves dogs. She used to have like 10 in Brazil. So coming here, she's like, let's go to the
Yeah,
dog park. And we're going there, seeing there, and I'm like, I would be so nervous
I
knowing
know,
that there's alligators here,
I
and
know.
these cute doggos, and they're like jumping deep, bro, to get those
Yeah,
those.
I used to see that too. Like everybody takes their big dogs out there and they'd get in the water. We had a pug, so he was like,
Oh,
you know, he's got no hope. And I used to keep him away from the shoreline, like because
yeah.
exactly that. Like that's not happening to him here. I'm not going home and having to explain to the wife that story. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna
Damn.
be on my watch.
Gonna be on my watch. Dude, yeah, Florida's been fun. But yeah, definitely expecting more Florida man as I live here. It's been a nice change, but you're right, it's hot. It's so humid and way
Oh,
too
it's
hot,
hot
bro.
for sure.
It's crazy.
Summer's rough.
Yeah, I really like now. Actually, it's kind of like breezy. It's
It's been honestly, it's been a great season
yeah.
this year. It's been cooler than usual.
Mhm.
Honestly, the last few days it's kind of felt like California outside, which you maybe get a few of those days a year. It's been
Mhm.
way more this
Yeah.
time, so that's been cool.
You guys have your guys studio here too, don't you?
We do, yeah, the audio compound.
The audio. Oh yeah, with Andrew. Okay, dude,
Yep.
that's we went there one time. I forgot. I don't know if the band wants me to say who I recorded with because they didn't release it yet. But I went there to record with a cool band, dude. That place is a vibe. I don't know how long you guys spent to
Awesome.
like set it up, but it's very like chill, like
Yeah.
homey and like pro kind of looking.
Yeah, Andrew and I spent like 2 years doing that. He was like the main vision for like the way it was designed and stuff. And yeah, it's been awesome. And he does a great job maintaining the whole place. Yeah,
Yeah,
we love it
anytime I
there.
talk to any local musician, they're basically like, at first they called it. I was confused when I got here. They're like, I'm going to the compound. I was like,
Yeah.
well, I was like, what? Like what does that mean? Like there was no
Yeah.
context. I'm like, here, I'll go record. I was like, that's cool. I thought it was like a venue. And then I was like, no, it's like the A Day to Remember dudes, like their actual place with Andrew. I was like, oh, that's so sick. Like you guys actually like you have the recording studio space here, which is like that's something not usually bands have. Is that nice for you guys to have that in your own place where it's like, I don't know, however far you guys live from there, you just drive and you're like, let's go record like a banger right now.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Neil's working out of there all the time. Andrew's there. Over the years we've had different people come and go, like working out of there. So it's been awesome just to have as like a tool. We did most of the majority of the last two records
Mm,
working. Well, not the last record. Most of this current record was in LA, but
mm.
before that, um, a lot of it was done at the audio compound. And it's cool because it's just like you can go home at night and still be a part of your
Right.
family's life. So it's rad.
That's awesome, man. Dude, well, obviously, speaking of the new record, something that caught my eye, obviously, this is volume one.
Volume
So
one, yeah.
that insinuates things into
Hmm.
to the world.
It
Um,
does.
is there any you guys talked about volume extension or two at all in any capacity, or is it just like here's volume one, everyone just focus?
No, there's more songs than volume one, and that's really where it came from. We were trying to put together a track listing. And they didn't want it to feel too long because they felt like too many songs get lost. And
Oh,
I
okay.
agree. You know what I mean? Like when it's too long and drawn out, the songs get, kind of left in the dust that maybe were better than others that they heard before. But it's just tough to listen to the same thing over and over and over again when you
Mhm.
get that deep into a track or our track list. So the idea was to just split it into two and put us in a position to where we could adjust, which I'm excited about
Mm,
because personally, I've never sat down and like said, okay, we're going to try to write this type of a song today.
right.
So at least in theory, I like the idea that we put out volume one here. We see what works with people and we can see if we can
Mm,
adjust the second half of the record because we've probably got the majority of it done, but I would
yeah.
like to like write a few more to round it out
Yeah.
in a way that just feels right. And
Mm,
we got like at least five more that I think
mm,
are worthy of, seeing all the way through before we want to call it done.
mm.
Um,
Well,
but we'll
having
see what happens.
yeah, being able to get like real time feedback, I think that's really cool that you guys are still writing, but you're able to be like, okay, this worked, this worked, this worked, this worked, great, and you
Yeah,
kind of get to quickly adapt because it sucks for bands where it's like 2 years. Okay, well here is it, and then it's either this works or this doesn't work, and you have to wait another fucking 2 years, to be like,
exactly,
and
man.
and
And
then even
like,
at that moment, because it's taking so long, you don't know if it'll have that same flair or spice from what you've learned from the feedback
yeah,
from whatever this record is going to the next one. Because maybe there's new innovations or there's these new bands or these new styles that are like pushing things, and it's just like it's
yeah,
such an awkward moment always, that like 2 to 3 year cycle for a lot of bands where
truly.
they can't really do much. So I love that you guys are doing that, so you have that time and that leniency to like, here's some cool feedback, like this is great, like this worked, like great. Perfect. We'll go
We
from
hope
there.
so, at least. That, in theory, that's what I'm telling myself is going to happen. Now, what actually happens in real life,
Right.
we'll get back to you whenever Volume 2 does come out. But
Mm,
it would be really cool if we could get it out sooner than later. So
mm.
I'm going to try.
You're gonna try, dude. Well, when it comes to Volume One, obviously, I actually have it in front of me right here, dude. The artwork instantly caught me. Who did the caricatures? I think they're
So I'd say caricatures too. I've been saying that myself.
yeah.
This guy named Phil Roberts. So I
Mm.
don't know if you saw that movie back in the day, Detroit Rock City,
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
or like Grandma's Boy. He did both of the art for both of those movies. That's like
Oh,
his whole style,
hmm,
So we kind of reached out to him. We saw this. We were like inspired by this old Animal House poster for the whole thing, and I was like,
mm,
it'd be fucking rad if we did our version of this
hmm,
and use some of our tour production over the years. Like use the Mount Rushmore thing we did for Parks and Devastation, but then also have all the people that were a part of this record in some way, shape, or form
hmm.
on the cover. And I tried to like sprinkle in little things that made it unique to them, or like have little backstories
Right.
as to why they are the way they are on the cover. But yeah, that was the thought
Mm.
process. Just, to me, this record was about just being or having a good time.
Yeah.
And I wanted the artwork to reflect that. And
Mm.
actually, we had the idea for the artwork pretty early on. So it kind of like influenced the rest of it. It influenced the
Mm.
title. It influenced what will
Yeah.
eventually be
Big
like the
old
tour
album.
name.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I
Was
don't
was
know.
that a
I like
simple like? What's the record going to be called? I don't know. It's a big old record, and then you guys were like, well, there you go.
I swear to God, Nick, it was exactly that
Okay.
conversation right there. We had so many songs. There was so many things that people were excited about. We had this new idea we were messing around with. I was in the like vocal booth with True Folk, and I'm like playing this like acoustic like chorus idea. Everything starts on acoustic,
Mm.
but I was singing this like idea I had, and he was like, "Dang, I really like that." And I just looked at him and I laughed. I was like, "It's going to be a big old album." And then he goes, it's kind of good. It's like, I swear to God, I love that. And then like Mark, our manager, had the idea
Mm.
of multiple volumes instead of having like a long track
Mm.
listing. And then that just was, that's it. That completely sold the idea of
Mm.
that title for me. And then it was like, let's just have fun with that title. Let's have fun with the artwork. Let's have fun with the tour whenever that happens. And yeah, that's kind of like the whole
Mm.
vibe of everything now.
That makes sense. Dude, yeah, it was fun going through like the album artwork and being like, oh, it's Cody, oh, it's Isaac, and kind of seeing, oh, there's Ollie, and seeing who's who. And it did. Chat was tripping me out. They thought one of the people, and now I know. I think it's Andy from the Compound, or like,
Yeah, Andy
okay,
Karpovic. Yeah.
okay. They were like
He
Nick.
did some drum tracking on the record. I thought that was hilarious, that thumbnail you had on that video.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, because it's like the specific, it's the eyes. Like no one has my dead eyes usually. Where I'm like, that's not me. Like there was no association to in this capacity. These are people that are useful to this band. I'm just here existing in metalcore world. So I was like, that's not me, but it's kind of funny for me to
No, it was
assume.
good.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. I wasn't anticipating it, but then like when you pointed it, I was like, oh, I can actually see that. That's funny.
Dude, it's the eyes and the particular hair. I never met Andy. I just saw Andrew when I
You,
was there, so I probably would be like, oh shit, dude.
I've never seen you guys in the same room together, so
Guys, actually, I'm there. I'm co-producer.
could be you. Who
Could
knows?
be. I actually work at the compound. I saw the guys. Yeah, record everything here. No, yeah, that was very fun, and I think moments like that kind of bring the scene together when you have those community things. I mean, you guys did that way before with oh my god, I forgot the name of the music video where you had all of the metal scene.
All I
basically.
want, yeah.
All in one. And it's cool when bands do that, and I think it also reinvigorates that idea of like fun in the scene. This is something I love kind of talking about more so with the channel and community because look, love bands. A lot of bands are super serious and they have their big specific purposes and reasons why they do that. And even just having like we had Electric Callboy on the show the other day, and like same kind of thing where it's like these are guys who are super professional but fun, and they do fun music,
dude.
high energy. And again, a day to remember. You guys are basically like, I think in the metal scene, probably like the epitome of the OG fun kind of metal things.
That's what we're trying to do, man. And now that we're talking about it, for anyone who likes the more serious stuff, I get it. I like the serious bands too, and there's nothing wrong with that. But with us, like that's always just been our vibe. There's plenty of people out there that are just technically amazing, players or writers or singers, but we've always just been like normal guys. We're writing songs that mean something to us and songs that we care about, and it's just supposed to be a good time. We're just trying to have a good time with us as friends, and get people involved with it along the way and tell stories that mean to us or mean something to us throughout the song.
It has that 2000s energy, which is something so exciting that, again, growing up in the 2000s, like you don't see it much nowadays, but it's cool to feel that, not just nostalgic because of the sounds, but even like I know you guys obviously talk a lot about like Blink, and I too grew up a lot with like Blink and like that band being so huge because they're just so fun, outrageous, but they wrote the most banger hooks, and no one will ever take that away. If you like Blink or not, like it is the biggest hooks, biggest songs, but it's like this party every time.
Oh yeah,
lighthearted.
Even still, like like I said, we were in between Ocala and Gainesville, and the Gainesville scene was really big for us. And that was Hot Water Music, Against Me, and for me personally, Less Than Jake. I don't know if you're familiar. I know this is more on. All right, well, I know this is like the heavier side of things. So for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, they're like this like ska punk band from the early 2000s. And I would go to these shows as like a young kid, and they wrote some great songs. Like Hello Rockview, the album is absolutely incredible. Check it out. And one of my favorite bands of all time. And you go to their shows, and they would just always do all this wild shit. Like the first time I saw them in Gainesville, they come out and they're decked out in like full Hawaiian outfits with long beards and sunglasses on, all of them.
Right.
And I'm like, I had never seen what they looked like before they walked out. And I'm just like staring at them. They look like a punk version of fucking, what's that band's name? Not AC/DC. Why am I forgetting this band's name?
Wears Hawaiian shirts?
No, they don't. The long beards.
Oh, it's Jeremy, you are not cutting this down for me, bro.
Oh, come on. Yeah, but when I say it, you're gonna know
ZZ Top?
what I'm talking about. ZZ Top. There it is. ZZ Top. They look like the dude with the long beard, all of them is from ZZ Top. And I'm like, this isn't what I was expecting.
Right.
But I still fuck with this. And then 2 songs in, they took it all off. And they look like normal people in the punk scene. And I was like, this is amazing. I loved that I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, these are like dads that look like they're in ZZ Top. I still like it, but I'm caught off guard. And then they took it off, and it was like this amazing thing. And the rest of the show was crazy too.
Right.
Some another time they dressed up like cops, and they came out to, Bad Boys as the intro song. I'm like, this is the sickest band I've ever seen in my life. So they definitely influenced the like fun side of our shows for sure, because we grew up going to them.
Well, I think that's a great thing too, because obviously, and respect to like very serious, and also I always have to differentiate when talking about that, because like there's professional, and that's the thing. You guys like to call it like the fun bands. You guys are sometimes even more professional, or much more than like very serious bands, that have the very serious image and all of that. And professionalism is everywhere. But like fun, and this thing being something that I see a lot more nowadays. Like, I love that I have musicians talk to me and they're like, we were in the studio, we thought that was hilarious, so we put it on the record because it was so crazy. I'm like, yes, like that's what I want to hear. And those are always like those moments you see with even more serious bands that kind of seem to connect a lot more and sometimes be like their big breakout tracks or their viral tracks where like even if it wasn't intended, it was these fun moments in the studio where you could tell everyone was like, that's fucking stupid. But like
we've had plenty of those moments where this is either amazing or it's not. Very much not, and there's no in between.
How was, obviously you guys are the kings of Callout here. How was the moment you guys said in the studio for the first time, disrespect your surroundings?
The first time, it was actually me and Mike Haranica were together, and it was a misheard lyric. I don't remember what he said it was, but me and him were listening to something, and he goes, "Did that guy just say disrespect your surroundings?" Right. And I said, "Rewind it back." And he rewound it, and I was like, "No, but that's fucking incredible." And for whatever reason, I immediately write that down in my notes because, like, misheard lyrics and it not being that, and you have something really cool out of it. I'm always looking for moments like that. So I wrote that down. And for whatever reason, we're writing this breakdown in the studio. And Neil's just in the corner. He's going, did it, did it, did it, did it. And I'm like, that sounds kind of cool.
Like most guitarists just did it.
Yeah, they're trying to write a breakdown to that song. We had the first part of it.
Right.
They're all in the room together, and Neil starts doing the did it, did it, did it. And I go, right at the end of that, just go, did it, did it, did it, did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other half of it, I told him to do at the end. And then when I heard it for the first time, for whatever reason, that line came back to me. I was like, oh my God. And immediately I called Mike Haranica and I said, Mike, remember when we were talking about that one song and I said, or you thought it was disrespect your surroundings? And he said, yes. And he laughed. I was like, are you going to use that ever? Because if you're not, dude, I'm going to use it right
Devil
now.
Wears Prada, guys. You missed out right here, brother. You missed out on a crazy call out, Mike.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not going to use it, dude. Use it. And I was like, okay. And that was it.
That's wild. From a misheard lyric to one of like...
It was a misheard lyric.
Damn, dude.
And then, looking today, r/Metalcore's biggest breakdown call out of all time.
I mean, r/Metalcore is its own fun piece. But like, that is like, anytime I've talked to people, and I always ask like fun things like breakdown calls, especially nowadays, like I feel like a lot of bands are trying to instill their own like big call out moment legacy, because call outs go hard. Like if you're good and you can do a really good one, and even one of my favorites is like Boundaries just did I fucking hate you so hard. It's just how you say it. You know what I mean?
It's the context, yeah.
It's the context. Like Body Snatcher. Oh God, my fentanyl made me an only child. Like this disturbingly.
Whoa. I haven't heard that, but that's crazy,
dude. It's there's hard ass call outs.
I'm instantly sad when I hear that. And I was like, man,
right? It's like,
that's crazy.
Fuck, dude, like a sad mosh that comes off after that one, right?
Just like crying in the pit.
Yeah, just crying in the pit, dude. Fuck. But there's so many bands doing that, and obviously I think you guys probably have one of the biggest call-outs in the entire world, which is cool to think back on. I would assume, like, did you guys ever assume, even knowing that it was hard in the moment, that it was going to be that big of a moment for you guys?
No shot. No, we had no way of knowing. And there's a lot of things like that on that record. There were things that, we liked that we thought were cool. And then once they came out, it just kind of took on a life of its own. Like the intro to Downfall was an extremely hard sell to the rest of the guys.
I would imagine.
Oh my God. You have no idea how long and hard that battle was. But, we made the right choice.
Moral of the story, band and other bands, listen to Jeremy when he comes up with crazy shit, because it apparently pops off every time.
Well, it worked out for us. I'll say that at least.
Have you guys ever...
You never know. I mean, it could the pendulum could have swung the other way, I guess. But
have you ever talked with Mike later at like, years later or something and been like, just had that discussion about the call out just out of curiosity, be like, hey, dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
we have.
you have? That was.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we've never like sat down and been like, he just, that just would have never worked for the Devil Wears Prada. That's not
Yeah.
what they were trying to do.
Nah, they especially during like like zombie EP era. I could not disrespect your surroundings. It doesn't hold the same right now.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
That line is over the top. It's ridiculous.
Mhm.
It wasn't even something that we sat down and were trying to do. Like I
Yeah.
just told you,
Yeah.
it just kind of fell out of thin air. Like we thought somebody said it, they didn't say it,
Yeah.
and then it just was what it was.
Yeah.
Worked
Did you
out.
expect it to also like continuously evolve into the modern era, which is the best version of it, of course, which I don't know if you've ever scream it this way live, disinfect your surroundings, which during
Oh, I love
2020,
it.
it was, dude, it was like
Oh,
a whole new breakdown call out at that point.
I still get tagged in that meme all the time.
Right. That's,
I've been trying to convince the guys to slap that on a shirt for years.
what? You
So
guys haven't slapped it on a shirt yet, dude? Especially
we
during
did.
2020? What?
I know. I know. I tried, but I don't know.
Jeremy.
It's not me. There's multiple people in this group. Everybody's like, no, we're not going to just put you cleaning a counter on a t-shirt and slap our brand on top of it. It's like, okay,
Funny.
I get it. But I think people would think it was funny and they would buy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's transcended modern culture, like through TikTok and everything too, which is something so cool. Which, again, I don't know any other band that has done a hard line that has had that moment or that capacity seep through multiple generations. It's such a-
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. But just right there, you never know. You never know how it's going to happen. It could be the
Mhm.
thing you spend uh, half a year of your life putting together, or it could be the thing that like you thought somebody said that they didn't. You know
Right.
what I mean? That you're like, actually, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
And if they didn't say it, I sure as hell am gonna.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have
uh,
besides a day to remember? Because obviously it's bias. A favorite call out you've ever heard for yourself?
for us, man, um,
Well, for you, so not anything like besides a day to remember calls, but you've heard from a different band and you were like, "Oh shit, that's a
oh,
that's hard."
okay. I mean, there's been a ton, but I mean, immediately the first thing that comes to mind, and it actually is a good transition to talk about the record.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines ever in a heavy song back in the day is actually at the beginning of one of our new songs. Wait, you haven't heard the record yet?
That's okay. If this is coming out on Friday, pretend I did.
Okay. Well, shit. Now I'm okay. So
I just
I'm not
ruined
gonna
your
say
whole
what song
setup.
it
I'm
is.
sorry.
No. This is good. It's good. There's a song on the record. I won't say which one,
Okay.
so you can find it yourself. But there's a little. We take this clip
Mhm.
from one of these songs, and it's a line
Mhm.
from one of my favorite breakdown lines ever. It says, "There's nothing between us but oceans of bad blood." It
Oh
was
shit.
a band called Until the End. Do you remember Remembering Never by chance?
Sorry, remembering
They're the
never.
heavy band Remembering Never.
No, I've never listened to that.
So there's a guy named Mean Pete. He was the vocalist for both of these bands, and he was in Until the End. When I was younger, when we were all younger, we really liked them. That was the band he was in then.
Mhm.
And there was a ton of one-liners from that band that were just stupid heavy, and he had a monster voice. And that line always stuck with me over the years. And when
Mhm.
it came time to write one of the new songs on the record, that was like a big inspiration, just
Right.
that breakdown line. So we turned that into a hook for the chorus, and we
Oh shit.
sample him as the beginning of the song. He actually passed away a few years ago.
Oh damn.
So
Okay.
that's another thing we added into the song as like a nod to him and
Mm.
all the stuff that he did that influenced us over the years.
Right, dude. Yeah, I'm assuming there's a lot of little tidbits and references, and even just like diversity in terms of the styles. Because even just the singles you
Yeah.
guys have released, obviously, you guys have always been a band that like either r/metalcore shoves in metalcore like no matter what, or like. But if you're also a band that like people that listen to just like punk or like easycore, just like vibe stuff, and also like you have acoustic songs where it's cool that you guys can go everywhere. And I'm assuming even if you get invited to a tour, like you can You can tour
Oh
with
man.
like NoFX Rancid and like Blink, but you also tour with, you know, modern metalcore bands if you want, like Spirit Box or whoever, right? And it's cool that you guys are able to have that diversity and just do you and still be a day to remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's been the coolest part about being us when it comes to playing shows. And it puts us in this unique position to where no matter what, we don't change the set list
Mm,
ever to like focus more on like what other people are doing that day.
right.
We always leave it what we would usually play for an A Day to Remember show,
Right.
so that, and what happens by doing that is we, no matter what we do, are always a band that stands out in the
Yeah.
day, where everybody fits together in this like easy like way. We stick out
Yeah.
because we're playing a little bit of that, but we're also playing a lot of stuff that doesn't sound like all that stuff.
Mm,
And over the years, that's been one of the biggest reasons why we've brought in so many different people from different genres. So
yeah.
it's really worked out for us, except for releasing music. When we release music, the cost of doing that when you release music
Right.
is, where I'm going with
I've,
this.
I've, I mean,
We found ourselves in a situation where pretty much no matter what we do, there's a large portion of our fans that
mm.
are upset
You've
that
heard
we're
some
not.
feedback, you're saying.
We have,
Yes.
and I get it. I get it. If like there's plenty of people out there that only know us because of the metalcore stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of metalcore, and for those who have heart, there was, like we talked about, the disrespect your surroundings,
Yeah.
all that stuff from Homesick. There's a lot of metalcore there, so it makes total sense that people are like, "Hey, I really like it when you do that. Could you just do more of that?" Like, I get it,
Yeah.
but for us, we've always been a mixture of a lot of things. So
Mm.
we're always going to do the thing, but we're also going to do the other thing
Do the
as
thing.
well.
Do the roar. Do the disrespecting.
We're gonna do the roaring, but there's also going to be,
Mhm.
we're going to get emotional along the way
Well, that's why I like
as well.
with the singles release on the physical album drop day. I love that you guys kind of were like, here's one for both of you, and shut up. You know, it was kind of like, here's like the Limp Bizkit-y
But
metalcore track, and then here's
but you know
the
what?
yeah,
They deserve it. Like
yeah,
that's when records have rolled out the best for us. That's what we did. When we did Homesick, we covered Kelly Clarkson at the time, way back in the day, just to kind of catch a vibe for this. Kind of sounds like the whole record we just wrote, and if
right,
they like this, hopefully they're gonna like what's coming next. And they ended up liking it. And then after that, we put out Welcome to the Family, which
right,
was one of the heavier tracks off of that record. So we always like to throw out both
yeah,
at the same time like that, just to show both sides.
yeah,
Hey, you're still represented here. Come give it a listen.
yeah. Do you guys ever feel like you have to appease both sides in that capacity, or is it more just a natural thing because you guys like, you like heavy, you like chill, you where it's a little more,
Well, we have to, because there's just multiple genres that pay attention to us. So
right?
if you
Yeah.
don't, you're just alienating a large portion of them.
Mm,
And that's not their fault. They
yeah.
they just like you for something. And hey, how about this? Somebody told me this: even if you get bad
Yeah.
responses from people, at least people give a shit.
Oh
It
yeah.
just means that something you did in your life mattered to them.
Mm,
And it doesn't that person was like, I was in a band for a long time, and we'd put out stuff and nobody cared at all. And I
yeah.
was like, you know what? It really made me stop and think, I'm a very fortunate person, and I've been able to put out music for almost 20 years now, and people care.
Mm,
Whether they like it or they don't like it, they listen. And at the end of the day, what more could you ask for?
dude, that's amazing. Jeremy, thank you so much for your time. I have one question before you go. Now, as a new Floridian, what is the best
Yep.
piece of advice you could give a Floridian to survive Florida and live here for the long term?
So, make sure you get your AC unit checked up on before summer, right before summer, because
Right.
you don't want to go out in the middle.
I'm gonna write these
And
down.
then just,
Okay.
yeah, man, just
Okay.
just just stay the hell inside or get in the water during that time period.
Stay
And
inside.
then, yeah, every other or part of the year is pretty nice.
Mhm. All right. Stay inside. That's no problem. We don't go outside here.
Exactly. You got it covered.
We
Just get that
yeah.
AC unit up to date. before it gets really hot. That's it.
AC. You guys need a call out now for AC specifically. Like
Yeah.
like cool down your household. That's bad. I'm sorry. It was on the spot there. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it
I
out.
appreciate it. We'll figure it out later. We're working on it.
We're
Something
working
like
on
that.
it. Chat, Jeremy of A Day to Remember. Check out the brand new record, Big Ole Album. It's out today if this is coming out Friday. But yes, Volume 1. And to keep an eye out for Volume 2. Show the boys the love. See them on tour. And come hang out. We're going to check out the record. Go buy it too. Go to the CD store. It's fun. They're cool. They have little fucking things you can buy too with the record. Like you can buy a Tamagotchi. Is that still sell there? I don't know. I a little
Maybe I've seen cool stuff at the record store.
records. Go to your record store and buy a CD. Show the boys love. Jeremy, everybody, do Jeremy. Thank you so much for coming in, brother. I appreciate your time, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Have a good one, dude. See ya.
Yeah, you too.